All right, hello, my name is Mia Sanchez.
And mine is Alexis Bryant.
This is our Through the Research of our project Environmental Impact of Menstrual Products. To begin with some background information, about 50% of the population in the US is female, which contributes to 20 billion period products being discarded each year, and these period products generate about 200,000 tons of waste. On average, 20 to 25 products are used per cycle, which can be counted up to 264 a year, and 11,000 in a lifetime, and this is all just for one person. Due to the use of these products, it generates about 330 pounds of product waste and 400 pounds of packaging waste per person in a lifetime. These products contribute to CO2 emissions, which are due to the plastic components polyethylene and polypropylene in the tampon applicators. And these plastic components can take up to 500 years to decompose, which leave behind microplastics, which is not good for our environment as they end up in the ocean and eventually into our food chain. The CO2 numbers can be counted up to 8.9 kilograms or 19 pounds per person annually, or 360 kilograms or about 793 pounds over a lifetime.
And then for our problem statement, it says, according to the United States Environmental Protection Agency and the National Library of Medicine, as of 2021, 12 billion pads and 7 million tampons end up in landfills annually in the United States, which causes 200,000 tons of waste nationally and 8.9 kilograms of CO2 per person. This occurs as plastic products, polyethylene and polypropylene, are not biodegradable or reusable, which end up in landfills to decompose over the course of 500 years. The process of decomposition of these plastics create a byproduct such as 245,000 tons of CO2 in North America, as 77% of period products are used in the United States. And the statement of purpose is, the purpose of this project is to create a product that will help decrease landfill waste and therefore CO2 emissions with one-time use period products. The main goal for this product is to make the materials biodegradable as they can decompose quickly with none or less the amount of CO2 being emitted.
So now our justifications for our research. The first one is from Science Direct, titled Menstrual Products, a Comparable Life Cycle Assessment. This article goes over how reusable menstrual products have significantly lower environmental impacts than of disposable ones, and it also goes over manufacturing, of how pads are 90% plastic, organic tampons are only 60%, but their applicators are 100% non-recyclable plastic, and 20 billion menstrual products, again, are disposed each year, 200,000 tons of waste, and in addition, 80% of these tampons are flushed, or 80% of tampons and 20% of pads are flushed. And according to the United Nations Environment Program, 21 products in 3 countries showed results of reusable products being 99% lower than disposable products across all environmental indicators, and this was the life cycle assessment, which essentially just assesses the life cycle of a product and determines how exactly it hurts the environment. And in this life cycle assessment, they determined that disposable organic pads scored the all-time highest for hurting the environment, with 90% for land use / carcinogens, meaning its manufacturing and transportation on the land, 80% for ecotoxicity, how it hurts the environment, 60% for acidification, how it increases pH levels in the ocean, and 97% for eutrophication impacts, which refers to nutrients in water. Our second justification is titled The Value of Reusable Feminine Hygiene Products Evaluated by Comparative Environmental Life Cycle Assessment, again from Science Direct. In this article, they go over a lot more demographics and sales of period products, with 55 to 59% for white women, 31 to 66% for black women, and 22 for 63% for Mexican American women who prefer tampons over pads. And in 2018, 39 million women used 174 million boxes of tampons. And in this life cycle assessment, they examined pads, tampons, and a menstrual cup based on 8 different categories, similar to the last one, but with a few extras like climate change, human toxicity, ecotoxicity, acidification, eutrophication, and mineral and fossil depletion. Tampons and pads had far greater impacts across all categories compared to the menstrual cup. Our third justification is from Zero Waste Scotland, titled The Carbon Impacts of Menstrual Products. This one was a really important justification because this is an actual movement that goes on in Scotland, which is titled Zero Waste, referring to no use of plastic. And in this one, they go over the carbon impact of reusable products and how they are lower than one-time use products because of their large CO2 emissions. They showed from the research that switching from tampons to menstrual cups would have 16 times less carbon impact, saving 7 kilograms of CO2 over a year from one person. And again, tampons and pads had the highest amount of CO2 with 7.4 kilograms and 7.6 kilograms a year, while the menstrual cup had the least amount with 0.5 kilograms of CO2 a year.
And then for our fourth justification, it's by the Gynecology and Obstetrics, where the name of the article was Menstruation, Environmental Impact and Need for the Global Health Equity. And typically for disposable pads and tampons, they are made up of cotton, rayon, or other synthetic fibers or plastics like polyester. And then once used, these tampons and tampon applicators are thrown out as solid waste or turn up in water systems. In landfills, it takes an estimated 500 to 800 years to completely break down. Product users estimate to use about 5,000 to 15,000 in their lifetime. Single-use pads and tampons are made up of organic cotton, biodegrade much faster than those made up of synthetic fibers. And then for our fifth justification from the National Library of Medicine, the name was Menstrual Products as a Source of Environmental Chemical Exposure, a review from the epidemic perspective. There was an increase in permeability, which means that the inner lining of the vaginal layers absorb much easier, which allows for environmental chemicals to absorb during the use of menstrual products. With the constructed layers of a tampon and the design to hold fluid within the body, there are potential health risks due to the interaction of the vaginal environments and microorganisms. Environmental chemicals such as dioxins, phthals, and volatile organic compounds raise concerns about health risks despite low exposure levels. And then these are first two of our similar solutions, one being completely organic product, which has completely organic tampons, tampon applicators, and the packaging as well. And the next one is the same thing, however, the actual applicator is plastic.
Our next three solutions, in picture C, we have a reusable pad, which is made completely out of cotton, but it is reusable, so it is a product that you, after once using, you rinse, dry, and reuse. In picture D, we have a menstrual cup, which is made out of medical-grade silicone. It is, again, reusable, so after you're done using it, you rinse. Except for this one, since it is made out of silicone, you boil it to get rid of bacteria, and then you insert for use. And C is our patent from Andrew Webb, and it is a biodegradable tampon applicator. Now we have our similar solution matrix. In the top corner, we have our problem statement to always remind us of what our goal is. For our specifications, these are all coming from our articles of justification. Of course, we have biodegradability and sustainability because that is the main point of our project, and those are weighted at a 2 rate. We also have medically safe and appeal as a 2 times rate, and then we have comfortability, durability, and cost effective. And then we have all our products lined up, and we had the biodegradable tampons winning with a score of 89. They scored high on most of the specifications, but they did rate lower on comfortability and cost effectiveness because due to reviews, it showed that for a lot of customers, they were falling apart or disintegrating during use due to their biodegradable materials, which is obviously something you do not want. And they are a bit more expensive compared to name brand tampon applicators that are really popular right now.
And then this is our final product that won the similar solution matrix. Most things that stood out to us were the price. It's $10.20 for a 16 pack, which is quite expensive for the amount that was given, and a lot of women may use this amount within a couple days. And then the applicator is polished cardboard with a tapered tip to help with the insertion. The tampon core is completely organic cotton, which allows for anti-leakage, and it also prevents fabric from forming knots or tangled fibers. And then the absorbent core is 100% toxin free, which helps with absorbing like liquids, and it's wrapped in a safety layer to prevent fibers remaining inside of your body. And the packaging is also recycled cardboard that holds the tampons.
Here are all of our references, and thank you.